Now we'll talk about chapter 10. The thinking mind, and we'll mention about the word thinking. So, what do we think about? The word recognition means to think. We have thought. Thought can express in a lot of ways. Thoughts can express as images, like visual image, and thoughts can express as concepts. So what is concept? Concept is an organizing principle developed from experience. So thought is concept. Not only human being has concept, also a lot of non-human, like animals, also have the concept. So, an alternate approach to think about the concept is the prototypes. Prototypes is a representation of category formed by averaging of all members of the category. And the exemplar is a specific member of a category used to represent the category. So such as you think about the average dog, and this is a special category of the dog. So we use exemplar, it will have much more variability, and prototype do not provide, characterized prototype do not provide much information about the range of the feature found in the category. Also, concept as theories, set of the facts and relationship between the facts and explain and predict the phenomena. So, concept as, and also concept has a lot of other ways, such as concept and schemas we mentioned the last chapter. So we have the comparison to typical members who of a category to appear to play a role. So we have a kind of expectation, and also brain. A disease, for example, ALS, called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is ability to form new concept. So after we mention about the thought, how can we solve problems? Problem solving is defined as meet a specific goal. To use the information. So we have 4 steps. First step is understand the problem. Second step is make a plan. And the third step is carry out the plan. The final is look back. I will explain it in each stage. First, if we do not solve in the 4th stage, we will trace back into the first stage. For the first stage, understand the problems. We will face mainly 2 situations. One is the personal bias. We may have some bias towards the problem, And second is the function thickness. Function thickness, or people's tendency to think about a concept in a most typical way. So it is hard for it to broken the rule. Second, make a plan. Make a plan, we have two ways. One is our generating solutions. The first step is we first generating a solution. And we have two ways. One is algorithm. It's called step-by-step rules. You want to solve the password of a 3-digit number of your suitcase. You can try it from 000 to 999. The second is called heuristic, and also we have another name called rules of thumb. So we have a lot of heuristic. First heuristic is recognition heuristic. Predict that people will place a higher value on more easily recognized alternative, such as when we ask which city is richer, you will mention the city that you think is very familiar. And second is the availability. The availability heuristic is the frequency of events occur is predicted by the ease with the event is brought to mind. The frequency and the ease. So people will think about that, like killed by the shark is highly frequent than attacked by the falling airplane, but actually it's opposite because the sharks movie are more frequent in our mind. And third is called representativeness heuristic, which leads to estimate the stimuli similar to a prototype that are more likely. So, for example, you will think a beautiful woman has a high likelihood higher than she's a beautiful queen. And we go to the second part of the second step. It is decide on a solution. So in the decide on a solution, we have the last type. It's called affect heuristic. It is mentioned we will use our emotion to judge things, and emotion response. Okay, this is the first two steps. Third step is just carry out the plan, and fourth step is looking back. So evaluation is an ongoing process. And now we have computer models to decision making. And in biology, sometimes we need fast decision. So this will related to our subthalamic nucleus, and it is our part of basal ganglia. What else? Our prefrontal cortex is quite related, last part of the brain to be mature, so it's quite related to risky decision. So this is our heuristic and about thinking. And now I want to talk about intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to understand complex ideas and adapt effectively to environment, learn from experience, engage in reasoning, and overcome abstract. So we have IQ, some intelligence quotient to measure individual intelligence. And there is a statistical technique of factor analysis help develop and distinguish by the general intelligence. We call it G, and specific factors. So general intelligence has divided into two parts. The first is the fluid intelligence. The second is crystallized intelligence. So what is fluid intelligence? Fluid intelligence is the ability to think logically and without the need to use learned knowledge. And crystallized intelligence, a story opposite, is the ability to think logically, use specific learned knowledge. So for the fluid intelligence, no prior knowledge. And also we have the emotional and social intelligence. This can be separated from traditional measures of intelligence, and the factors can still exert a strong influence on a person's academic and professional outcomes. So it's quite related to educated skills. So intelligence remains a relative stable trait over the lifespan. It's really complicated, so there's no intelligence center, and intelligent brains enjoy quick, efficient communication. So, actually, we have found out that the world has increased the IQ scores about 8 points per decade. So this is already like we can call it the Floon effect. From the data of meta-analysis, featured nearly 4 million participants, show the result increase. And now we talk about the extreme of intelligence. First, intellectual disability. Approximately 1% to 3% of population will score like 70 plus minus 5 or below a standard IQ test. So it's like 1% to 3%. And we also divide it into 3 parts. First, between the 55 to 70, we call it mild intellectual disability. So for the 40 to 55, we call it the moderate intellectual instability. And for the 25 and 40, we call it severe intellectual disability. And intellectual disability faced a lot of common problems, such as feel insecure attachment, and language skills has problem. Also, it will increase the risk of we mentioned before, the emotional and behavioral disorder. So after talking about the intellectual disability, we also have the giftedness and genius. So for the giftedness, it's also approximately 1% to 3%, and more than 130. So some children may even have really high, more than 150 IQ scores. This is this chapter, and we have another concept called collective intelligence. Sorry. This is stability. This is a quality of group. Process independence of individual group member intelligence that predict group performance. So this is our chapter 10's easy chapter. We talk about what is sound and dividing images and concepts, and what is the problems we divide into 4 stage, and also what is intelligence. We have J and fluid and crystallized intelligence. We have the extreme intellectual disability and giftedness. And we also have social and emotional intelligence and collective intelligence. And this is our chapter 10.